from Interior the Poem. And I'm going to read most of the poem, but take a little leap away from it in the middle, not because they aren't all good words, but maybe because it was a little long. When we all discovered Joe's work in our 20s, we just couldn't believe it. It was like, who is this guy? And then everybody felt like we had discovered him. And then went to the older poets, and they were like, yeah, it's great. And then it was unfathomable that he could be great, that they could know about him, and that everything in the world wouldn't be different for them and through them. You know, I think part of the excitement of his work, I think it seems to me the thing about the greatest, expecting his book to be a bestseller, is that feeling that something about this work goes to some other level. And so when you find it, you go there with it, and it seems all changed. And it was impossible to believe you could just go on having read this work, you know, and be you, you know. My hair is black, my eyes are black. I am the dictator of the poem. The poem is in front of me. I am writing on its face. The soul of the poem is inside the poem, which is inside the poem. There is no mystery to me because I can be seen. I am 5'1", can almost be called dark. My forehead is high, like a nude African. My body is nude underneath this dress. The skin is lighter than a hide-on. If I move, my dress will move. Underneath this dress are openings. They are used for purposes. I am not mysterious. In my own way, I am a star, a galaxy of temptation and denial. My eyes are wide. Even deer would stop to look. I am a huntress. My game is man. Behind my ribs is a heart that can be eaten. I am an animal. No, I am an animal. There is a dictator of the poem. I removed is that dictator. Beneath my dress, midway beneath my dress, are lips that have been bitten by the poem. If I remove the dictator, I become me, which is the poem removed. I'm a huntress of the soul, but I'm gentle with my fallen prey. I am misused by my prey and my poem. The poem can reveal itself through me. If I say that I am more intelligent than the poem, do I mean that the poem is less intelligent than I? Or do I mean that the dictator is less intelligent than the poem? The poem has no weight. The poem has no value. It is not for sale. Where do I end and where do I begin? The poem is talking, I am not. When will it stop so that I can talk? Does the poem love me, or does the soul inhabit me to love the poem? If I kiss the poem or fuck the poem, will it then love me? There is no guarantee. Oh, where is the interior of the poem, so that I can stab it with my prick? Where is my bride, to whom I promised I would come? Something's missing, I can't continue, the poem's become too real, I've lost myself. The poem does not give up, it teases me and taunts me until there's no brain left. It sees my face in the mirror and laughs at me again when I find that it is looking at me. Wait a minute, stay a little longer. I know you have other faces to see. I feel completely involved. Am I revealing myself to you? Am I? You say it's midnight, you have to go. At least I know you're not sleepy. No, I'll only stop when you are mine, and neither priest nor murderer can take you away. No, I reject all that stuff about priests and murderers. I don't care who takes you away, as long as you keep coming back. It's not because I'm lonely that I want you back, but because I know you are familiar with these woods. Selfishly, I need your weapons to capture the poem, but I can't continue because now I don't know whether I have you or lost you or whether I'm looking for you. I think I once had the poem when I was young, when I first met her. Whatever knowledge I had then was dissipated from my brain. But it's only you writing the poem while I sing away at dreams of unreality like a bad folk singer. You think you've written a poem for me? Yes, you're right. I had nothing to do with it. It's bland language, it's undecorated sensibility. You think you've been my guide, my undiscovered self, my inspiration? I've only let you because I was afraid I might lose you again, to some other more revealing force. Now I see that love is the only clarity I feared, and whatever you say is a translation. What really moves me with uncontrollable forces is that unearthly desire to be without cares, to live with every sexual desire, and to end up in the end like a bum.
2 poems from Millennium Dust, and then another one, I was looking through my CDs, that I somehow have CDs, some of you probably have them, the other day, and I found a recording that I must have pirated while working here, of Joe reading at the Poetry Project, and there's no date on it except for my guess, which was about, I think, 1983 or so. Maybe some of you were here. But it was right after Millennium Dust came out, and so I'm going to read a poem from that we can't find in here, and then play the recording of Joe reading that poem. Night birds. While the animals rest, do we have the right to divine life? Branch Brook Pond is clear. It is a clear impossible alone. All inner feelings are grown up, and us, 2 people approaching the clear pond with fish we see near the edge. It's like a vision of the pond, but there are 2 children and a man. Is it through the pond, or the flowers around, or our talking, or the whispering of late, erotic birds? Yes, maybe they are far from their family. Maybe that's why they're late. Or are they just night birds? Come here like they do, every night like we do. And this is Nude Madness. Tie me down, everyday work, all the promises in clouds disappearing. Glue me to this earth, nail me to this rock. Would it hurt too much? Would it be a cushion against reality, a self-consciousness of the human body and human movement, a game of cheating sexuality? It scares me more to think of the nucleus of an atom than to imagine a revolution. I fall down beside you, breathe heavily. I feel heavy. The morning wind comes through the window, through my open side. So this is from his reading, and it's transcribed. I don't know if I got the line breaks right. Take an example. When the process of thinking runs parallel to the mechanism of giving this or that reason, and confusion drops in to paint memory, why in caring at all are these violet blossoms half hidden behind that tree? When I think I'm broken, my point is not to be misleading, but where does thinking understand what I'm falling into? Not to be confused, like a leaf falling. Not that the leaf feels confused, but that I have a kind of landscape to my being that changes with the other creatures. Branches of these yellow bushes, nostrils flared open, the whole sweating and running of childhood mixed with cobalt tears, so that your life can be entered and re-entered without having left it. So that one thought should strike the body and give it eternal life, life eternal without life, for one moment while alive. And this is the recording. Is it at 5:13-ish?
Yeah,
It's playing?
Yeah.
Is it playing past it? It's so good, y'all. It was working before, yeah? I know. Sorry.
A couple pages of witness
Oh,
I really don't know what the relationship is between them, except that it just sounded interesting beforehand. So I just started writing while I was on a bus.
he was reading Wittgenstein, so I said.
It's called Taking Example. When the process of thinking runs parallel to the mechanism of giving this or that reason, and confusion drops in to paint memory, why in caring at all are these violet blossoms half hidden behind that tree? When I think I'm broken, my point is not to be misleading, but where does thinking understand what I'm falling into, not to be confused like a leaf falling, not that the leaf feels confused, but that I have a kind of landscape to my being that changes with the other creatures. Branches of these yellow bushes, nostrils flared open, the whole sweating and running of childhood mixed with cobalt tears, so that your life can be entered and re-entered without having left it, so that one thought should strike the body and give it eternal life, life eternal without life, for one moment while alive.
That's it.
I'm going to read a few from Mad Angels and then one or two from Spring and Sword of One Lights. All winter, the leaves stay on this ground, the sun, the rake, the hoe, the furrows, the moon. All winter embodies the ashes, working insects beneath. Indian song. The stone is hard, the stamen and pistil of this flower, yet wild, yet near. The city street is dark, this hand, these lips. The stone is hard, the city street dark. The wild woodlands break out, open upon the subterranean plains, yet wild, yet near. The city is dark. Hidden bird. Songbirds enter the morning, the pre-dawn before the fires, you know, when the night floats away like vapor on a lake, or like kisses in the woods. Songs that even creation might not remember. Continuous, threaded as if a cherry pit were stuck in the throat to produce the trumpet of the branches. So varies, yet never changing through all the days since reptiles fell to earth. I give up the reason for the sound. I give up the creature of sound, and the creator of the creatures, and of us, and of dawn, and air, and of vacuum, and human and humanity. I give up the song. I give up the place. Now I'll come to earlier ones. Dusk. Before the dusk grows deeper, now comes a little moth dressed in rose pink wings bordered with yellow, now a tiger moth, now another and another, another. The wind is blowing west. One. I'm trying to decide to go swimming, but the sea looks so calm. All the other boys have gone in. I can't decide what to do. I've been waiting in my tent, expecting to go in. Have you forgotten to come down? Can I escape going in? I was just coming. I was just going in, but lost my pail. 2. Boisterous tide is coming up. I was just looking at it. The pail is near me again. My shoulders have sand on them. Round the edge of the tide is the shore. The shore is filled with waves. They are tin waves. Boisterous tide coming up. The tide is getting less. 3. Daytime is not a brain. Living is not a cricket's song. Why does light diffuse as earth turns away from the sun? I want to give my food to a stranger. I want to be taken. What kind of a face do I have while leaving? I'm thinking of my friend. 4. I am trying to go swimming, but the sea looks so calm. All boys are gone. I can't decide what to do. I've been waiting to go. Have you come down? Can I escape? I'm just coming. Just going in.
I'm going to be reading 3, and the first of these I love so much I told Parker I'd be willing to battle in order to be able to read, but thankfully, somehow I didn't have to. It's called Rain and Wolves Inhabit Me. They roam through and through, a rain soaking the pubic hairs of youth like volcanoes growing trees, like my head in sleepy vision. Rain and wolves inhabit me, behind the fevers of the jungle, of the individual self, ready to destroy all notion in the ocean of false intelligence that destroys bit by bit. Rain and wolves inhabit me as I stop at the edge of the woods, freeze and smell and listen. Listen and smell and think. See and feel and listen to the particle universe I drink. Characters. The woman said, I saw the royal wedding this morning. Yeah? How'd she look? Oh, her dress was beautiful, gorgeous, said the woman in her summer knit sweater and golden blonde dried baked hair and pocketbook of bygone years on her way to the factory to pack some equipment or sweaters, blouses, or socks. The lady with gossamer hair and makeup like a web across the face, an American commoner, and her maids in waiting, waiting for the passing day to see again the royal wedding in the evening summer sunset. The men, women, in the bars and pubs of eternity are glimpsing the royal faces as common as theirs, as noble as theirs, scars of the heart hidden. Someone said, Queen Mother Mary, and another said, Hail, Holy Queen, Mother of Mercy. Our life is hidden in the armies and lives of our ancestors, riding, walking, fainting through the northern forests toward a stellar of eternity, hidden in meaning but common in symbol, for an unknown future, bodily, lazily settling to die in some foreign cave and to emerge in some future unknown eternity. God bless us all. God bless the Queen. God bless the people dirty and clean. God bless the energy. God bless the trance. God bless the everyday with no fuss or circumstance. And this last is the last section of Irish entry. When a spirit comes to me and frightens, and the weight on my chest turns to butterflies, into desert lands, and rivers flow through, arms to heart, shepherds and farmers sit to drink my isolated soul, but not because I'm away from you or may never see again the drunken night or shaking star's illusion. That distance is not time, and time not space, but the Spirit comes to me.
I picked poems from different periods, and in the fall of 1968, Columbia University Press published Spring in This World of Poor Mutts as the first winner of the Frank O'Hara Award for poetry. The judges were Kenneth Koch and John Ashbery. And I remember the event of the reading accompanying the publication of the book. I'm pretty sure it was in the fall of 1968. And here's a poem that was in that book. The one I was assigned to read was read by my friend David Shapiro, so I'll read one that he was supposed to read. It's called Happiness in the Trees. O height dispersed and head, in sometimes joining these sleeps. O primitive touch between fingers and dawn on the back. You are no more simple than a cedar tree whose children change the interesting earth and promise to shake her before the wind blows away from you in the velocity of rest. Another poem that was quoted earlier, one of my favorite poems, Drunken Winter. Oak, oak, like, it then, cold, some wild paddle. So sky then, flee, you say, geese, the boy, June of winter, of again, oak, sky. From Imre, there's a very short poem called The Gods in Me, 3 lines long. The gods in me. Orpheus is in my bowels, Apollo, my chest. Isis juggles my penis. I'm going to read it 5 more times now. It means so much to me, and then I'm going to read it backwards later. Here's a poem called Fever, and this is from a book called Millennium Dust. It's on page 318. Fever, oh wild navel, on what branch do I hang on to? Do I hang my frame on, heavy with sins of the woods that would not break? Carry a little peace, a little divinity in 3 dimensions of pain. What wine, what drug, what fuck will lift me into the non-dimensionality of salvation? I think he was a very religious poet in a way, but you mustn't say that to a publisher or they won't want to publish his book. One of his last poems, written in March 1988, hasn't a title. It's can be referred to only by the first line, which is, when I think of all these fucking hours. No G at the end of fucking. When I think of all these fucking hours, lost and weeping over nothing, and of my own broken wings that screw up my soul to the septic rhythms in the head. How could I be tough to turn down my own humility and not to follow, say, Pushkin to his death? Oh, what a rotten fuck to not have the seasons or heaven or errors of unknown elements breathing down my neck and being thankful for that. No one sees me. I am just here, my foot a decoy for compassion, my sympathies and despairs for another generation to find. And if, in the dichotomy of a missing world, a cough awakes the night, you'll find I'm not asleep.
Thank you again to all of our readers who did a great job at bringing some travelers work to us tonight. That recording was fantastic. Thank you, Corrine, for playing that. It was great to hear. Thank you all for being here. Pick up a newsletter on your way out. It's free. And buy a book, thanks to Unnameable Books in Brooklyn. We have books in the back. And come back next week for Ray Trout and Alan Davies.